Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you can hear me. Sometimes it starts and you can't even hear me, so I don't know. But just checking in to make sure. Thumbs up if you can hear me. So I just finished episode 1. Good. I just finished episode 1, and with wifey, and I told her, like, you're going to be upset when you see some of this behind the scenes footage. But what I want to try to do here, and I don't know if this is going to work for everybody. Oh, thanks, Mel Johnson. I appreciate it. First live from Australia. Love it. What I want to do is I have the ability. I think it's called something like, I don't know what it is. Basically, it's teleparty. I'm going to give you guys this link to teleparty, and I want you to copy it and paste it, right? And then see if you can watch this with me, because I obviously cannot show it here on YouTube. I can't like put it up like I normally do or here and watch it. I can't do that, okay? I will get struck instantly. It's Disney owned. Disney's owned by, or Hulu's owned by Disney. You don't mess with Disney. It's just the way it is. But what I think we can do is I've got it queued up here, and I've sent the link out, and I want you guys to see what happens when you click the link. I can't do it on Rumble either. Rumble will get me. You do not mess with Disney. You just don't do it. Okay, you don't. But basically, I want you to see what happens when you guys click that, and I'll listen to it in my headphones. So, what if you want to participate here? I'm gonna be playing it in the watch party, but we're gonna be reacting to it here. So you're gonna need another device, laptop, TV, or whatever to watch it with that link I sent you. I think anybody's able to join. I have never tested this. I just want you guys to click it. See, that's the issue, Alex. I think you're going to have 2 devices. You're going to need a TV or a laptop or something, as well as, the iPhone for YouTube and maybe the laptop or the TV for the link I sent you. I think you might have to have it on computer, unfortunately. Not compatible with iPhone. Okay. So if you have a computer, the thing is I can't show it, guys. I can't even play the audio. I'll get struck like instantly. Works for Android phones. The link is there here. If you're looking for it, just scroll. You know what I'll do is I'll put the link for it right in the top description of this video, so you guys can click it. There, it's in the top of the description of this video. So there, it works on your MacBook. I know it's not going to be for everybody, and there's going to be some limitations to what we can do here. But I won't even. Maybe it'll bleed through my headphones a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So you guys can hear what we're talking about. And I'm not sure if you need your own Disney Plus account, though, to do it. So it doesn't need to be pinned. It's literally in the description below this video. It's the link right there, teleparty.com. Yeah, I can just... I don't know. I didn't know if this was going to work or not. What's that noise? Hello? Oh, it's being played right now. That's why. Okay, is that working for anybody? Yeah, I guess it doesn't work for Apple products, so you're going to have a different computer or something to watch it. Holy, stop. Pause. It's on Hulu. Yeah, I wish I knew Discord worked, because I don't know how it works. I should get good at using Discord so we can do watch parties like this. So it only works if you have a Disney account. So is it requiring you guys to log into your own Disney account so you can watch it with me? Is that how that works? I don't know how Discord works, so it's not easy for me. Maybe someone will teach me and we'll do it next time, maybe, I guess. So instead, what we'll do is we will... I'll disconnect from that teleparty, and we'll just talk about the first episode, because I am going to be uploading a video tomorrow about the first episode, but I also want to tie in a bunch of other different things. So hands up if you've seen the documentary first episode. If you haven't seen it, spoiler alerts, okay? Big time spoiler alerts. I can't play the video on YouTube. Even to show it to you, I would get copyright striked. So I'm in the middle of the second one, and it is quite something, okay? So if you don't want spoiler alerts on the first episode, don't watch. We're going to be having a conversation about the first episode here. Crowdsourced conversation about this. And if you don't mind being spoiled on it, then just stick around, because this episode is actually quite crazy. So the episode kicks off with they're just basically how all documentaries start, is they're building the story about how it all started, right? Ruby and Kevin met. She had this apparently she had this list, it's almost like an Excel spreadsheet, but not really. It was like a hand-drawn Excel spreadsheet about what she was looking for and all the suitors that were trying to get her, because apparently a whole bunch of dudes really wanted her. Hey, Tom? A whole bunch of dudes wanted her, and she was making a list about it was again, a spreadsheet about here's what I want, and here's how these guys rank inside of this thing. So they got together for that. I guess he cheated, because he said he went into her closet and found this thing, and then he studied it. But I guess it worked for him, because he got to marry her, or failed, whatever. Either way. So that's how they met, right? And apparently early on in the marriage, everything was fine. If we have Hulu, we can just start episode 1 as the same thing you've been watching. I want to watch it on my iPad. But yeah, I don't think teleparty is going to work, because everybody has to have an account, and there's only 6 or 7 people logged in. It's not going to work. So you just have to kind of watch it and then kind of chill out here. Or, I mean, I can probably go to Rumble and try it. I don't care if I lose my Rumble account. If you guys want to go to Rumble and we can watch it over there, I can do that if you want to do that. Okay? Yeah. That's what I told my wife. I said the exact same thing. I was imagine how those guys feel right now. All those guys had big crushes on Ruby in college. Jeez. Got to. Had to. Documentary's called Devil in the Family. And I know that's going to piss Ruby off, and I like it. This is a good question, or this is a good statement here. That's how you know there's something seriously wrong with Ruby. She didn't marry a man because she had a connection with him. She married him because he checked all the boxes on her list. Exactly. Yeah, again, the documentary is called Devil in the Family. And they got married really fast. I'm doing well, thank you. Let me just get this slow chat on, because it's getting pretty crazy already. So, I mean, what I technically could do is start how I've done this before, is we leave this up and we watch it on Rumble together. Okay, Rumble's like another YouTube platform, but it doesn't copyright strike me. And if Disney does copyright strike me over there, I don't really care, because I don't care about that. I don't make any money over there or anything like that. I mean, we can do that, or we could just watch it over there. I don't know. Anyway, we could just continue talking about the episode here, but I think you really need to watch it. First and foremost, though, I think we need to really make sure that we understand that Kevin, Chad, Sherry, and some of these people that have agreed to be in this documentary are all getting paid for this. Okay? They especially, and the thing that pisses me off the most is that Kevin's getting paid for this. And if you watched my video today on Kevin doing the interviews, he has no business making money off this story, okay? Because he should be in prison, in my opinion. He has a lot to account for here and has gotten away scot-free. And not only that, he's getting paid, and he gets to say the things he wants to say. Obviously, Ruby can't say anything because she's in prison. She probably wouldn't anyway. But he gets to correct the narrative if he wants, or the narrative he wants you to know. And this documentary is Kevin is basically this. F you, Kevin. Kevin just gets to be like, okay, guys, this is how it went down. But then as you watch the documentary, you realize the abuse was crazy before Jodi came around. And that Kevin is complicit in that abuse because he allowed it to happen, right? If you've got 2 parents in a home, in a loving family, and one of those parents is causing massive amounts of trauma and abuse, and the other parent doesn't do anything about it, they're complicit. I think we can all agree there, right? Kevin and Chad are lying about the closeness of the relationship with Sherry now. I agree with that. I mean, why is Sherry not sitting in the room with them, right? Why is she in a different room? Especially during the interviews. And again, this was done a little while ago because Chad's hair is completely different now. He got a perm and everything else. This was filmed like a year ago, I think, or something very, very a while ago. So the thing that pissed me off the most about this Hulu documentary is that I'm glad it's being made, but at the same time, I'm pissed that Kevin gets to make likely hundreds of thousands of dollars off of this. And why I like that Hulu is doing it and Disney's getting a hold of this is because it's going to expose this industry even further to a lot more people who do not understand about this industry. And they're doing that by bringing in footage we have never seen. And every time they put a piece of footage in that shows Ruby and who she really is, when the camera's like the unedited parts where she didn't edit those parts out, it's actually it's frightening. It's frightening. Paige Hanna was one of the early adopters of Connection. She was one of the early up-and-comers, like the early leaders inside of it. And it's funny because you look at these people who were in early Connections and they didn't like Ruby because she rose to the top of the ranks without having to put all the time and money in that they all did. Paige Hanna, in my opinion, is one of them. She's just upset and she's butthurt that Ruby got to the top of this Connections and became Jodi's right-hand man when it was Paige Hanna who wanted to be. You can tell she's butthurt about it. And now she's a whistleblower because she didn't get what she wanted. Because you know that she drank the Kool-Aid. You know she was in it. Well, no, I agree. Disney, of course, Disney is a big... Like, if you want to talk about the whole thing of it. But you have to understand... A documentary like this that's going to get in front of millions and millions of people's eyeballs is really, really important for a few reasons, right? Initially, they said, you know, it's a Mormon thing, which it really, really is, but it's not just a Mormon thing. Mormons are, I think, I would agree with this, the majority of family vloggers are Mormon. And so that was because they were told by their leaders and their bishops and their uppers to do this, to family vlog, to sit out there and to show the world what Mormons are like. And then this happened. And then you got people like her sister Bonnie, who I am convinced Chad and Kevin are calling out in the interviews to say that this is wrong. And there are people, and they even said in their interview, we know that behind the scenes, they all act like Ruby. What they're saying is that the ones that we know who we're connected to, they were all like Ruby. That's Bonnie. Yeah, if you guys, Tragedy Club, you're a bit scared to watch because the video is triggering. Yeah, if you guys grew up in an abusive homes, be careful with this stuff. Because it is actually crazy to hear yell at kids and to treat them that way. It is triggering. What's scary is how brainwashed they were when it comes to Mormonism. I'm going to say this again, and if you're in this chat and you're a Mormon, I mean full offense to this, okay? You are unintelligent, okay? Anybody who is a part of a cult, Scientology, Mormonism, any cult, there's so many cults out there, okay? You are dumb, okay? I'm going to say it real slow. If you are part of a cult, and Mormonism is a cult, you are unintelligent. There's something wrong with you, okay? And you need to start figuring it out. Because if your eternal soul is important to you, and it is, and it seems like it would be, you're in the wrong area. You're being led down a dark path, okay? Don't be so dumb. All right? I'm trying to be nice, sort of, not really. Like, it's my, and a lot of people will say it about Christianity. My wife and I had a little talk about that today, about how people will think about that, the Christianity, and how, but the one thing that Christianity stands on itself, and this is why I believe in it, is because it's the only religion where you're called to love your enemies, okay? And you are literally, it's like a commandment. It's the only place where it doesn't matter who you are, you're called to love them. Do they do it? No, obviously, but you're called to. Mormonism, if you leave Mormonism, you're out. Like, you're not on the planet with the family anymore. And they're so butthurt when a person leaves Mormonism and they excommunicate them and they're not part of the family anymore. And I'm not saying for everybody, but for a lot of people, okay? And there are millions of people waking up and becoming ex-Mormons for a reason, okay? the thing that pisses me off a lot about Mormonism and the theology of Mormonism is that it just changes with the times. The Bible is God. The Bible has been the same today, yesterday, and forever. Okay? Nothing has changed. Now, there are churches that will change their theology for like LGBTQ issues and be affirming of all that stuff, but it's not biblical. Okay? Those churches are on the outside of Christianity, in my opinion. Okay? I'm just saying. It's the theology has never changed. Whereas Mormonism, like, they used to be super racist, and probably still are, but they change it. And if something doesn't fit the narrative because the theology doesn't match up, they'll just change it. Like a head bishop or whatever these guys are called, the 12 apostates or whatever they're called, they can just change things. They're like, well, we're just going to change that. That's not biblical anymore. That's bullshit, everybody. How dumb do you have to be? Well, some Christianity's not welcoming. Some, like, it's supposed to be, right? Mormonism is not welcoming. Mormonism is inherently secretive. They have secret handshakes. They wear secret underwear. You can't get into the temple and learn things and understand it unless you're a card-carrying member, and you can't do that unless you tithe. Like, Mormonism is really close to Scientology, in my opinion, okay? It's like, it's crazy. Ask a Mormon, a Bible-believing Latter-day Saint, okay? Or a Mormon, Book of Mormon believing Latter-day Saint who is bought and sold for the Mormon church. If your house was burning down and you had the last two books on earth, one was the Book of Mormon and one was a Bible, and you could only save one book, which one are you going to save? And if they're telling you the truth, they're going to save the Book of Mormon. Okay? This is what I also talked to my wife about. Thank you, Frankie. And I'm going to take a little credit here. I'm going to float my boat here for a second. The single thing Josh has said for years is unfortunately true. These other families need to be stopped. I've been talking about 8 Passengers Ruby Frankie since right around the Micah Stauffer situation. So I went pretty big off of the Micah Stauffer situation. Okay? And it's kind of where we are now because of Micah Stauffer. But the second family I covered was 8 Passengers. And this is even before the exploitation thing was a conversation. Is just more like, okay, these people are idiots, and I didn't realize how bad family vlogging was even before that. And I was even triggered back then, and my gut was telling me back then, there's something evil with Ruby Frankie. I mean, the only way you guys can watch it with me is if we go over to Rumble, and maybe I can do that after this. I don't know. It's up to you guys. No, Mormons not the same as Jehovah's Witnesses, but Jehovah's Witnesses have some real squeaky theology, like terrible theology. Okay, like to the point where like they'll die if they need a blood transfusion type of thing. Okay, the Jehovah's are very similar to Mormonism. Like they go door to door and they're like MLMs and they're like that, but they're not the same. Mormonism, I think, is way more evil, and way more wolf in sheep's clothing than any other religion. Like at least Scientology is. Even though it's based on a book by L. Ron Hubbard and, a robot making dolls in space, at least okay, well, you're absolutely ridiculous for believing that, but at least we know you're dumb, okay? Because there's not, you're believing a religion based on a fictional novel written by somebody in the 70s or 60s, okay? When it comes to Mormonism, the reason why it's so dangerous because they claim to be Christian. That's the part that's dangerous. That's the wolf in sheep's clothing, right? But they're not. Mormons are not Christian, okay? Let's say it together, everybody. Mormons are not Christian. And when a Mormon says that they're Christian, tell them to F off. They're wrong. They are a cult. They are wrong. And that's bad theology. It's real. The Bible's very clear on preaching bad theology, okay? Really clear. And those who do it, those who are the upper echelons of the leadership who do that, those people are going to be judged real harshly and likely are going to spend time in hell the rest of eternity, actually. So the documentary is called Devil in the Family. So Kevin, I think, does have the kids at this point. So, yeah, going on with the documentary. So I'm pretty sure that Kevin and Shad, probably and Sherry, they're all still, Book of Mormon believing Mormons. They still are, which is mind-blowing to me. They have the rights to this documentary. I'm pretty sure they sold it to a company that filmed it. They had their hand in it, and it's very pro-Mormon. That's the one thing that I'm like, I knew that was going to come down the pike. I knew it. It's very pro-Mormon. So don't go in expecting to be like, hey, the Mormon church is wrong. Not going to happen. Okay? They are not. They still drink the damn Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid tastes like ass, by the way, from Mormon churches. It's on Disney, Hulu, or Disney Plus, yes. If you don't have Rumble, Hulu, or Disney, I don't know what to tell you. I can play it over on Rumble, and we can watch it together if you really want to do that. Let me see here. I don't know if I can do that. I have to go to Rumble. I don't know, man. Pretty sure I'll get screwed if I do it. Okay. Freemasonry, I think, is one of the fundamental principles that Mormonism stole from. Freemasonry is not a theology-based religion. Freemasonry is like a club. I don't think I'm not very educated in Freemasonry, but I don't think it has anything to do with salvation or heaven or hell. Freemasonry is just a power structure, I think, with like levels inside of it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think episode 1 talks about, there's a period of where Sherry was said that she helped Chad clean blood off his wall because he would get bloody noses, and then he would get beat a lot by Ruby, and at one point they had to clean blood off the wall. That's crazy to me. Like, Chad was physically abused and assaulted by Ruby way before Jodi came around. And this is the important thing, because when we talk about Kevin, he's complicit in that because he allowed it to happen. I'm telling you, as a dad, like my wife would never anyway, because there's no way I would be someone like this. But at that point, you got to start questioning this, even from a biblical standpoint, if you want to. Okay, the guy works at BYU. He knows what the Book of Mormon says about this stuff. You think the Book of Mormon is pro-abuse of your children? Even I don't believe that. Okay, I don't think so. So when these people are so sold out for Mormonism and yet she's abusing her children, that's a sin. Like that's a hardcore sin. Can we take a second to think about how Ruby's time is in prison? Stupid bitch. I hope she has worms in her food. Okay. But also one of the biggest things that no one's talking about in this whole story was like, because some people want to like allow Kevin to get away with this. They want to be like, well, it's not his fault. He's the victim, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, some of that stuff is true. Okay. But I don't care. You're the father of these kids. You have a responsibility to these kids. And at one point for 13 months, you didn't see your kids. F off. Okay. But let's not forget this big thing, because even Kevin admitted this, Chad admitted it, and Sherry admitted it in her book, that when Jodi was a big part of their family at the beginning, when this was all going down, everything was back to normal. There was no abuse. Ruby wasn't yelling anymore. Everybody was very happy. Don't forget that. Everybody keeps skimming this over and skipping it. Jodi had come in, Ruby had changed, there was no more abuse, everybody was peaceful and happy. So when the only time that all shifted was when Jodi moved in, and it started getting a little bit crazy, because Jodi's MO, don't forget this, is to go into marriages and alienate the husbands from the wives by getting on the wife's side and being like, look, your husband's a pervert, he likes pornography, he likes all this kind of stuff, and you need to get rid of him. Invite him to leave. And then Jodi would get into a relationship with that woman, because Jodi's a lesbian. It's literally her MO, because in Mormon church, you're not allowed to be gay. I don't know if you knew that, but you're not. Okay, so she had to be a closet lesbian, and like, obviously she is. Look at her. Okay, she wears cargo shorts a lot. Probably has a Subaru. But the issue here is that this is what her MO was. She wasn't trying to help people. She was trying to bang their wives. Okay? Yeah, Jodi's literally a black widow. And so this is what happened. She wants Ruby now. She wants Ruby's fame. She wants Ruby's channel. She's probably jealous of Ruby to a degree. And she wants to destroy families. It was never about helping people ever. It was always about destroying families. Okay? Or it was all about her lust for women. That's what she did, man. And like, can we be real though? Like, you look at all the Mormon women and they're beautiful. Mormon women are beautiful because they're called to be beautiful. That's it. But, I mean, clearly she did this because she's a sexual deviant. And that she would preach against it because she was ashamed of it. But that's her MO. She did it. And there are so many women that will never come forward because it's so taboo that it even happened to them, and they will never tell you. They'll never tell you. And so don't ever forget this moment when they tell you, when Jodi came in, everything was peaceful. There was no more abuse. There was no more hitting. There was no more yelling. How are we supposed to take that? And then at the end, they're like, well, Jodi was the devil. But apparently for this time at the beginning, everything was good and you guys were all happy. So it's not like they saw this coming. Obviously, Kevin didn't see it coming. Well, he did, because at the beginning he said this is a cult, and then he changed his mind. So he saw it, but then didn't see it. But don't forget that moment. They said everything was ticky-boo for a long time when Jodi first came in. And everybody's skipping that. And then they started talking about, and I'm halfway through episode 2, about how Jodi's house was like the devil was there and stuff like that. And Jodi's the devil, so that's, I guess the devil was there. So that's how she sucked them in. She used the, I'm a marriage counselor, I know what I'm doing, and she would literally just destroy marriages because she wanted to sleep with the women. That's literally what it was. Yeah, Jodi accused a random guy of SA, and he clearly didn't, and he had his whole career taken down. Yep. Bonnie has started a video 100 times about the docuseries. Has started a video 100 plus times? What do you mean? Like, Bonnie, when you watch this too, Bonnie's going to hate this documentary. Because we know that Bonnie is exactly like Ruby, if not even worse, pre-Jodi. Okay? Like, that, who Ruby was before Jodi came around, we know that Bonnie is exactly, if not worse than Ruby. Because we saw it in the videos. We saw her attitude. Look at the ear-piercing video that I did about Bonnie. Bonnie hates that this is coming out. And I can't blame her. Because she's going to be painted with that brush, and she deserves to be painted with that brush. Because Bonnie, there's a moment in the documentary, too, where Ruby hires a lawyer when the crap hits the fan, when she's called out for Chad. Remember when Chad does the video where he says, hey, I've been sleeping on a beanbag for 8 months, and Ruby just laughs about it. And like, that was the video that took 8 passengers down, by the way. That was the beginning of the end. And then people started digging back and finding didn't send her 5-year-old with a lunch, and started realizing, okay, she's really abusive. Okay. They hired a lawyer, and the documentary is really clear on this. They hired a really expensive lawyer to come in and talk about this. And the lawyer's like, look, you're going to apologize. That's what you need to do. And you know what Ruby says? She says, over my dead body. Over my dead body will I apologize, because I'm not wrong. She has so much pride about this that she thinks she's right. And it was about all the abuse and everything that we had seen. And she's like, hell no. You're not going to tell me what to do. Who else acts like that? Who else is exactly like that? Bonnie Holine is exactly like that. Bonnie Holine will not be told today. Will not be told by her own family, even though they live through the horrors of it all. She will not be told that you can't tell me what to do. I'm going to continue to exploit my kids and make money doing this. How dare you tell me what to do? That's exactly what Bonnie is. She's exactly like Ruby. Oh, she's going to do a video about it. But good luck navigating this one. Because we can see through your earlier content, Bonnie, that you were exactly like Ruby, if not worse. And I'm saying worse. I think that Bonnie is worse than Ruby pre the 3 months where they got really crazy into it. I think she's worse. And Kevin saying he was living vicariously with Chad was a big point. Give me your best points of what you guys saw in the first series, because this is really important, and you're triggering my memories. They also said this. They said that Chad was the reason that that people were coming to the channel, because he was the, for lack of a better term, he was the drive to the channel, because he's a good looking kid and he was in sports and all the girls liked him, and Kevin admitted it freely. He's like, yeah, that's why people came. Him and Sherry, the teenage daughter and the teenage son, good looking kids. That's effing, as soon as you know that, and here's the thing, family vloggers know that. As soon as you know that, or you come to terms with that, that's when you turn off the camera. Because that's what you're using your kids for. You know your kids are drawing in predators, and people want to have relationships with them and think that they're good looking. And you don't see a problem with that? You don't see a problem with that? That's every family vlogger out there, everybody. They will use the child that brings the most people in. It happens a lot. Look at Dr. D Dozen with Harley. Okay? Look at FizzFam with their teenage daughter who dresses crazily inappropriately and brings in predators. Okay, look at Weisslife. Look at any family vlog who has teenage kids. Who do they use the most? You're like, oh, you have a favorite. The favorite one is the one who brings in the money. Okay? Oh yeah, that was a good one. where she's like, because they have all the footage of her trying to bribe her kids. Bribery was a big thing inside the 8 Passengers house, and it's a big thing amongst any family vlogger. She's like, you guys are going to get $10 for being in this video. $10! At a point where Kevin admitted that they got paid well over $100,000 a month just from AdSense. Hey, Stephanie. $100,000 a month paying their children $10 to be in videos. Isn't that crazy? Disney did leave it a lot. And here's why, Billy, is what happened, if you really want to know. It's because Disney just bought the rights to this documentary, which was created by Kevin, Chad, and Sherry with a filmmaker. The filmmaker basically bought the rights, bought the footage, but Kevin probably said, look, we're going to do this, and we're going to leave this out. Disney didn't make this. They just bought it. Okay, it was already made before they bought it. So, and that's what I think anyway. And so, of course, they left out so much. It's going to be important to see what they left out, because what's unsaid is what Kevin doesn't want you guys to know. And again, if this documentary goes 3 episodes and Kevin doesn't say, here's my public apology to my children, then F that guy. F it. Ruby also said she would date Chad. I thought that was Sherry who said that. I'm pretty sure it was Sherry who said that. And I told my wife that too. I said, there's a moment on this channel where Sherry said she would date her brother, and it probably was in jest, but you can't say that in front of millions of fans, and people are going to think you're weird, because the relationship was very close, and so people were thinking weird things were going on, and Sherry's going to have to live with that for the rest of her life. She touches on that in her book too. She's going to have to live with that for the rest of her life. One of the worst parts of the documentary is when Sherry said Chad was whooped so badly by Ruby was blood over the wall. Yep. Sherry said she was helping Chad clean up blood off the wall, which is insane. So I think that Kevin was still drinking the Ruby Kool-Aid early on in this, and Sherry went to the house to get the laptops, which I think had all this footage that we're seeing now on it, because she was going to use it, and he didn't want that. And then obviously he came around, started waking up to the whole thing, and then now he's on board for it. But let's never forget, guys, not $1 million a month, hundreds of thousands a month, millions a year. Let's not forget, everybody, that Kevin is making a big fat wad of cash off this. They're not doing it out of the kindness of their heart. Okay? They're not. I think Chad and Sherry should be paid. I think that that's their story to tell. But Kevin's making a huge fat wad of cash off this. Don't forget it. He was still trying to protect Ruby, and he still says to this day he still loves her. So I'm sorry. No, you don't. You don't love a person that can torture your children. You don't do it anymore. Kevin's paying back what Ruby stole. I hope so. Kevin wasn't on board until there was criminal charges. Good point. Yes, this is a good point. Sherry's perp, the guy that took advantage of her and groped her and basically essayed her, he knew all about her because of this channel. This is well before Jodi. There's so much abuse and parasocial relationships and dangerous things that happened before Jodi ever came around. And Kevin wants you to think that it was just it was mostly Jodi. That's what he said in the interview. He's like, oh, look, the timeline squished. No, man. Jodi was maybe a couple of years since COVID, sure. But you guys have been around since 2015. So no, Kevin wants you to think that Jodi was the main perpetrator of all the evil. The evil was going on well before Jodi came in. I'm sure I will be pissed by the statement at the end, for sure. I hope each one of these kids gets a big check, and I hope it comes from Kevin's pocket. It's not going to come from Kevin's pocket. He's going to pocket a portion of this, and the kids will too, because they're suing Jodi for her mansion out in Arizona. It's probably worth about $5 million, and I hope every single penny goes to the children and none of it goes to Kevin. Kevin, let's never forget, and I think everybody's on board for this, Kevin got away with this. He had no business getting away with this. Chad said he knew what he was doing, would purposely make his mom mad when he wouldn't act. Yeah. The thing that Chad was saying, and I'm glad he did it, is the thing is, way early in the channel, by the time they hit 1 million subscribers, these kids were already done with it, and that was a big part of this video, where they're like, we didn't want to be in these videos anymore, we were done with it. And she was like, too bad. And she forced these kids to be in it. Hands up if you think family vloggers are all like this, because they are. There's no way you can keep a kid interested in anything, okay? They're always doing different things, and they should be. They should be bouncing around doing different things till they find something they absolutely love when they're a little older. But these kids, how did Just Fam and how did Doherty Dozen, these kids don't want to be in these videos. These parents coerce the children into doing it or bribe them or worse. Okay, and they put guilt on them by saying, "Look, we don't get vacations. We don't have this nice house. We don't have this nice car unless you do this." They guilt their children, and the weight of the family's finances are on these children's shoulders. All of them. All of the family vlogs are like this. There's none that aren't. More abusive once the kids started getting bored of constantly being on camera. I hope they realize what happens. Yeah. So this is a good point. I think that the abuse ramped up because Ruby was just so sick of trying to convince her kids to be in this stuff, and she couldn't get them to do it, and so she would use abuse to do it. They took, don't forget, early, way before Jodi, years before Jodi, Chad had everything taken from him for months and months, and then she admitted, she's like, "Has there been a time that I took something from you and I gave it back to you before 6 months?" And they were laughing. No, there's never been a time. He never asked how that's a good point. They never asked how the children were in the police interview. Didn't give a shit. This guy had not seen his kids for 13 months at that point and still didn't ask how the kids were. Kevin plays innocent, but you can hear him obeying Ruby in the background as she's screaming at them. Yeah. I'm so glad we get to see the archive footage. You know, every single family vlogger is doing this and cutting out God knows what. That's why family vloggers very rarely hire editors. Okay? And if you do hire an editor, you know those editors are signing NDAs. Because the footage that Ruby, like, we can thank Ruby for one silver lining in all this. She documented everything and kept it all, even in her journals. She wanted it all. She didn't give a shit. So she kept so much footage, and there's so much stuff, thousands of hours that none of us have ever seen. And thank God that Hulu got it. Well, Kevin's getting a big fat paycheck for selling that. He sold that. I don't think Ruby will ever be allowed around her children until they turn 18. I mean, and that'll be up to them, but I don't think she has any business being around these kids ever again. I mean, lust for law, you're just like us, man. I cannot believe that Kevin did not have any charges brought on him. Like, flabbergasted. His neighbors texted him about the cops and he didn't come. Yeah, he didn't do anything. He knew, guys. During that last bit period, you know that Sherry knew something was up. She was trying to call the cops every other day. You don't think Sherry told her dad? You don't think Kevin knew to some degree about something or had an inkling about it? Or was, even if there was just a little bit of a question about it, why didn't he dig in? He didn't dig in, and he came 13 months after this all happened. After his kids had already suffered all the abuse, he came to the police station after it was all over. He knew something, at least something was going on, and did nothing about it. Kevin abandoned his kids and was on video knowing the abuse. Yeah, and was on video talking about sending Chad to Anastasia. Like, you don't think that he knew that there was blood on the walls and the kids were being beaten with belts and stuff like that? You don't think he knew that stuff? You don't think, like, he could hear her yelling from rooms, "You are not invited to speak while I'm doing videos." You don't think he knew that? He knew, man. He knew everything. Sherry was an open book to her dad. He's crazy. The only Kevin cared about and still cares about is Ruby. I think he's trying to get this divorce settled because it's just, he has to. But being Bible believing Mormon still is like, yeah, there's still kind of some connection there and for the afterlife. I truly believe that Kevin is seeing someone else right now. That's the vibes I'm getting. Of course he knew about the beatings Chad was getting. And here's the thing, if Kevin was living vicariously through Chad, which he was, and he admitted to it, when Jodi said, "I don't want him playing sports anymore," Kevin should have stood up at that moment and been like, nope. Because if you're so proud of Chad for being the athlete he was and everything else, you're going to take his future away from him and you don't do anything? I don't care how beta cuck you are. You don't allow that to happen. Can we be real for a second? You don't allow that to happen. He took Jodi and Ruby and Kevin took all of Chad's future away from him. All the cool things he could have done with his life and the scholarships he could have gotten, they took it all away and Kevin was complicit in that. I don't care. I don't think their relationship is as strong as they're portraying it on camera. I think they're getting paid a big fat ton of money. Because Chad lives on his own, man. Like, he's going to be a realtor, which might work for him. I mean, his fame will help him as a realtor. But he's not making a lot of money right now. Okay? He needs this money. I think he's got to be cordial with his dad to make this documentary. Mormons believe in divorce. Yeah, they do. A lot of Mormons get divorced. And it has to be biblical, though, right? I think he only filed for divorce to get the kids back. He will definitely take her back when she's out of prison. I don't know. I honestly think that Kevin is with another woman right now. I think he's moved on already and he's trying to get this figured out. Yeah, I think Kevin has custody of the kids right now, Brianna. Or Brianna. Sorry if I said your name wrong. Yeah, this is it. This is another thing that they said in the interviews. J-House Vlogs, Yahweh, Leroy's, April, and Davey, they all need to be called out because they were all connected to 8 Passengers, where Chad and Kevin both admitted that those things that you saw Ruby doing, those other families do that too. Those families. Okay, don't forget April and Davey, their son, what's his name, Zaid Orgil, stabbed a kid at school and got away with it. Literally stabbed him with a knife. Big, giant cut. Craziest thing you've ever seen, and got away with it. Ruby told Chad to fake it until you make it. Yeah, and so Ruby was, that was the craziest part. Where she's like, I need you to fake being happy. And he's like, I don't think I can. And she gets really upset. It's crazy how much she asked her kids to fake being happy. And one of the things that really hit me was when you'd see the camera. This is how vloggers work, right? As soon as the camera's up, the face is on, we're going to look at it. And then when they're like thinking what they're doing next scene, everything drops. Kids too. Kids are all happy, smiling in a picture. Then it's done. They're all like, ugh. That's the reality for these kids. That's the reality for all of them. Okay, all of them. Oh yeah. Go look back at my channel, Just Louise, at Zaid Orgil or Orgils or April and Davey. Their son literally stabbed another person, like had to go to the hospital. And I think he only got suspended. And then they use the neighbor, like April and Davey have such a good relationship with like all the Mormons inside. They silenced those couples into not making Zaid pay for it and go to jail for it. He should have went to prison, and he didn't. He literally stabbed another child. Craziness. And it was over stupid stuff, too. Yeah. Yes. Look up Zaid Orgil, April Davey, guys. And they were real close with 8 Passengers, by the way. What kind of, like, family vlog is out there showing look at the happy side of life on the family Mormons? Meanwhile, your kid literally stabbed another child. Could have died. This is so public. How could they just give Frankenfurter custody? Because CPS is so good at their job, right? They don't care. They don't give a shit. Yahweh was a part of... I did not know that Yahweh was part of the Connections. I didn't know that. I mean, I'd be surprised if they all were. Anybody who was connected to Ruby who didn't want to be part of Connections was no longer welcome to be in Ruby's inner circle. We know that for sure. So those that were in the inner circle while she was with Connections were likely with Connections as well. They were believing it all. Yeah, he has the kids. I'm pretty sure he has the kids right now. No, we're not going to... I can't watch it because there's only 5 people that are going to be able to watch it with me. So I'm not going to, like, you guys are going to have to watch it. I mean, I suppose I could watch it on Rumble with everybody. What do you think? I don't know. Why is this not working? Rumble's asking me to give my age. Hello. Not working. Anyway, it's not working right now. Karen, thank you. Kevin failed as a husband and especially as a father. Shame on him. He deserves prison. His kids will struggle for life because of what... Yeah, I agree with you on that. What did you think of the video of Jodi going through the trances? I did not get there yet. I'm not there yet. So... Bonnie was not involved in Connections. She didn't want anything to do with it, she said, and that's why she was on the outer circle. Like for all things I hate about Bonnie, she definitely was not close with Ruby near the end of this stuff. Like, I don't think she knew what was going on. But she said she did everything, which, again, is a bullshit lie. It's a lie. I hope that Bonnie's kids watch this documentary and they start putting 2 and 2 together about the abusive nature of how Ruby was. I don't think those kids realize the abuse that they've suffered. I don't think they do. I think Bonnie keeps them sheltered from it all. And I think once they realize, it's going to be some hell to pay in that household. Because look at Bonnie's husband. Who is he like? Huh? Interesting that Bonnie and Ruby both married super beta males who let their women run the whole thing. Which, again, is not biblical at all. Sorry, if you want to live that life, that religious life, okay, well, you have to adhere to the principles. And one of those principles is the father is the head of the household. Okay, it's patriarchal by nature. And so if Bonnie wants to tell you that she's nothing like Ruby, then she has a hard time proving it, considering she literally married a dude who's exactly like Kevin, but made him get hair. Kevin doesn't have any hair. She made Bonnie made her husband get hair. Joel, she made him get hair. All of the sisters have beta husbands. It's very, very telling. When you have a beta husband that lets you do whatever you want, basically low level abuses you, then that's Bonnie. I'm telling you guys. So when the judge said no to a search warrant when Sherry called for a wellness check. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yep. Yeah, they're easy to manipulate. They're easy to let the women do whatever they want. And someone had mentioned that Bonnie's kids are very well behaved. Why do you think that they're super well behaved? You think Bonnie would ever put up with any kid that's not well behaved? You think abuse runs rampant in the house if they are misbehaved? I did not see the possessed videos, and as soon as I'm done this live, I'm going to go watch it because I need to see it now. Rumble is free. Yes. Okay, I think I got to do it. Okay. Let me see if I can get on Rumble, guys. Just hang out here and talk amongst yourselves. It's not letting me put my age in here. It wants me to put my age, but won't let me do it. Freaking stupid. Crazy. Your boxing match, would you rather fight Kevin Frankie or Fathering Autism? Kevin Frankie. I like to fight them both, but I would like to knock Kevin Frankie out. KO. There's not going to be any TKOs. Full KO. And he's a big boy, too. Kevin's not a small man. He's a big boy. He probably weighs good 210. He's not a small man. It'd be a good fight. Okay, Rumble's not allowing me to get in for some reason. It's really, really weird. I'm working on it here. Jeez. No, it won't let me put my birthday in. I can't do Rumble. Won't let me. Rumble will not let me log in. I wonder why. Try something else. Sign in. There you go. Okay. Let's see if that works. Okay. Man, Rumble's just not working. Give me a sec. Getting there, getting there. Yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten striked yet, so I guess we can try it. Let me see what I can do here. Let me see what I can do. Go live. Later time. What time is it right now? 4:52. Let's go for 5:10 p.m. Okay. All right. I think it's going to work. All right. So here's what we're going to do, guys. Here is the live stream. I'm going to leave it in the top of this video. The Rumble live stream. The issue with doing the Rumble live stream is that it doesn't have the right side chat like we have here. It doesn't work like that. So I can't like highlight your comments. I have to watch it with you on YouTube or on Rumble. So it's in the top here. It's the Rumble link. Rumble is free. Shouldn't have to pay for it. It's very much like YouTube. So make sure you click it. I'll watch it with you guys. We'll go watch it. So I'm going to leave this stream. I'm going to head over to Rumble. I'll post a link on my community page, and then we'll go from there, okay? Let's see. I can't leave this feed open. It won't allow me to do 2 live streams from StreamYard at the same time. Yeah, you shouldn't have to sign up for Rumble. It should just work. The link should just work. Restricted because it's not live yet. Yeah, it's because it's not live yet. It's going live soon. 5:10 it's going live. Okay. What? See here. It's restricted, yes, but again, it's private because it's not live yet. It will be live. The link is in the top of this video. Look right below in the description. It's right there. You should not have to sign up for it. I don't think so. So it will work. When I go live, it will work. Okay? Okay, I gotta leave the stream so I can get it going. In 10 minutes, we'll see you there.